Thank God this season is over. As I said in the intro, thank goodness this season is over. And to be honest, it's a regime-defining summer ahead for the board, because let's get this out of the way, because there are a few things I want to say here. The board need to have a really big look at themselves, because they had a lot of goodwill a year ago with a lot of Sunderland fans, and through self-inflicted mistakes, which we didn't have to make, by the way, they've decided to just undo a lot of the good work that's there. I do appreciate the bigger picture, but at the same time, I think the board have got to look at themselves. Like, again, the Michael Beale appointment for starters, and even as someone who's been one of Speakman's biggest defenders and still likes a lot of what he's done for the club, which I am entitled to, by the way, as much as people are entitled to disagree with me respectfully in the comments. But with Speakman, there was a level of arrogance from him about the Beale appointment, and he deserves a lot of flack for that, because that was absolutely ridiculous. And KLD, I think, obviously we've had a lot of the stuff with the Black Cats bar debacle. To be honest, the second half of the season has just been absolutely atrocious from every side of the board. And again, I think this summer we know how big... Look, I'm sick of saying it. As fans, we know how big the summer is. Do the club know how big it is? Are they willing to act on how big the summer is? We need to get a good head coach. And by the way, if I was to quickly assess the game today, I thought the Sheffield Wednesday wanted it a lot more than we did. We had our chances, but they went into a good 2-0 lead, a pretty comfortable 2-0 lead actually, and then they were very, very comfortable in defending it, because Sunderland, quite frankly, didn't look like doing anything for most of the game. And you've got to give it to Danny Rowell, by the way, and well done to Sheffield Wednesday and their fans. They're a classy football club. They've been classy with Sunderland for about 2 years now, and I don't care. Again, won't smoke up their arse, but they're a very, very classy football club, too big for League One, and I'm very, very happy for them and their fans that they've stayed up. And as well, I've got to mention, today's performance is why I've been saying Danny Rowell would be my number one choice for head coach. I think it's going to be a lot harder to get him now Sheffield Wednesday have stayed up, but with all due respect, we are Sunderland. We should be able to go and not be worried about paying a little bit of compensation. But it depends. If he wants to stay at Sheff Wed, I don't blame him. Sheffield Wednesday have got something going now with Danny Rowell. But the thing I would say is we need to get this head coach appointment right this summer, because we can't let it drag on too long either. We have got to make sure that we go out and get someone who is a competent head coach and is a clear step up on Michael Beale. And I'm talking a comfortable step up on Michael Beale, because that decision to get him in is what's killed the season, not necessarily getting rid of Mowbray, in my opinion. Like I said, Speakman, arrogance with the Beale appointment, and in some transfer windows, and the last couple of transfer windows, we haven't addressed obvious issues that have been needed to address. I like a lot of what Speakman and Harvey have done for the club, but even I've got to say, if they're staying this summer, you've got to sort those issues out. And if they don't, then they can quite frankly go for me. KLD, I haven't been a fan of for some time. But you know what? He's got this summer to try and turn things around with a lot of the club and a lot of the fans. We've had the Black Cats bar debacle, which a lot of fans can't forgive, and I don't blame them for that. I'm still seething and annoyed off that, if I'm being totally honest. But at the same time, he's going to have to show, if he wants to be ambitious. And I say ambition with spending within your means, obviously, in that you want to try and compete towards the top of the league next season. But look, I'm rambling on here. As for the players, some of those players need to really look at themselves today and see if they gave everything, because I appreciate anyone's entitled to disagree, and I'm not going to disrespect them, because at the end of the day, they're entitled to their view the same way I'm entitled to mine. But for my opinion, I'm personally quite fed up of not being able to criticise the players, regardless of how young they are, regardless of the squad depth, regardless of the quality. There's been performances this season, in the second half of the season, where I feel they've just given up, and I feel like they haven't given whatever they could have done. But there you have it. That's just what I think. At the end of the day, this summer is regime defining, because if KLD, Speakman, we've heard reports he's off to Leon, but particularly with KLD, well, with everybody actually, but especially with KLD or the hierarchy in general, if you're wanting to be a long-term success at Sunderland, you need to deliver this summer, because if you don't deliver this summer, you'll be on a hiding to nothing, I can promise you, from a lot of fans. Anyway, thank goodness the season's over, and thanks to everyone who supported me, even through the death of my uncle, and I've suffered a couple another personal loss or so in the last week or two. But and also, by the way, just rest in peace to Charlie Hurley and to Jack Shields. Obviously Charlie Hurley was well regarded among a lot of older Sunderland fans, and rightly so. And Jack Shields, look, I didn't know him personally as a close. Obviously, I knew him. I wasn't a close friend with Jack, but I knew him well enough to know that he had some good crack when we talked. Not cocaine, by the way. Good Sunderland crack. And he'll be missed by everybody. Go and watch the SCFC Fan TV tribute. It was so touching. You can see how gutted everybody was. And if you're not a regular subscriber and you think I've earned a sub and you're watching this video, then hit the subscribe button. It would mean a lot. Thank goodness this dreadful second half of the season's finally come to an end. And let's see what happens in the summer. Hopefully we're in a much more positive state at the start of next season than we are now. Take care, you lovely lot. And once again, congratulations to Sheffield Wednesday on staying up. Classy set of supporters. Take care, everyone.